You have been trained to fail, not by villains, but by those who called themselves protectors. They taught you to be humble when you should have been bold, to ask permission when you should have declared purpose. They told you to sit still, keep quiet, blend in. But let me tell you plainly, the average life you were told to admire is a lie. The school taught you facts, but never how to think. The church taught you to beg, but never how to believe. The job taught you obedience, but never how to lead. You have been domesticated, and they called it education. You were weakened, and they called it normal. But I say this to you now, power is not safe, power is not polite, and power is not permitted to the man who waits. That is why this message should be censored, because it will make you dangerous to the world that profits from your mediocrity. If you hear this to the end, you will no longer walk like a man hoping for better days. You will walk as one who commands better conditions. The voice you hear now will not just speak to you, it will enter you. It will build thought, and that thought will burn away everything weak that ever lived inside of you. This is the science they never taught you, the truth they never trusted you with. The formula that built Carnegie's steel empire, Ford's factory lines, Edison's laboratory, Lincoln's unshakable poise. And if you listen with the intensity of a man who is tired of delay, it will build you too. But you must pay the price. Full attention, no distraction, no second guessing. Listen not as entertainment, but as reconstruction. For every word you hear will install new identity. Every sentence will either cure you or condemn you, depending on whether you act. Most men will never hear what you are about to hear. And those who do, 99 out of 100, will do nothing with it. You are now at war with that 99. But I believe you are not like them. I believe you will finish this message with fire in your spine and steel in your words. Let us begin. Some truths are so powerful they must be hidden from the masses, not because the truths are evil, but because the masses are unprepared to wield them. They have not developed the mental stamina, the spiritual responsibility, nor the identity required to bear the weight of those truths. Power in the wrong hands produces destruction. Therefore, most men are kept safe by ignorance. This message you are now hearing does not belong in the hands of drifters, doubters, or those who still ask permission to be great. It is not fit for the one who waits for society to approve of his rise. It is reserved only for the one who has grown tired of indecision, tired of weakness, tired of waiting for someone else to hand him the key. If you are that man, then prepare yourself, for what follows has the potential to remake you entirely. Understand this. Power is not given, it is unlocked, and it is unlocked only by those who possess the mental key. That key is not found in books alone. It is not handed out in schools. It is not passed down by bloodline. It is forged through decision, faith, desire, repetition, and the disciplined mastery of thought. Only a man who has declared war against his former limitations will ever possess such a key. The truth I bring you now has been kept from 98 out of every 100 men, not by conspiracy, but by natural law. The average man cannot wield this truth because he has not yet built the identity that can hold it. But if you listen, if you submit your mind to what is spoken here, you will no longer be of that 98. You will join the ranks of those who have become creators in the field of circumstance. The secret is this: the mind, when properly commanded by burning desire, fortified by faith, and reinforced through repetition, becomes the instrument through which all riches and power are created. This is no metaphor. It is law. And law, once obeyed, delivers results without fail. If this speech feels dangerous to the weak part of you, it is because it is. It is designed to burn away every excuse you have ever clung to. It is designed to destroy the old self, the man of delay, the man of opinion, the man of failure, and replace him with a builder of destiny. Let me now introduce you to a realm that few men ever enter consciously, the inner chamber of your own mind. This chamber is not physical, but it is real. And it is here that miracles are born. It is here that failure first takes root. It is here, in the private theater of thought, that your entire life is constructed before it ever appears in physical form. The mind is a fertile field. It will grow whatever is planted. If you plant fear, you will harvest paralysis. If you plant faith, you will harvest confidence. If you plant indecision, you will reap chaos. If you plant definiteness, backed by belief and fueled by desire, then you will produce power so great the world will not know how to explain you. You must now decide what seeds to plant, and you must be prepared to protect them with your life. Because the moment you begin this work, the moment you begin to install a new reality through disciplined thought, the old world will rise to test you. That is not the time to waver. That is the time to speak louder. Listen to me. This message is not safe. It is not polite. It is not gentle. It is power. And power, like fire, must be handled with responsibility. Once you light this flame, there is no going back to your former self. Once you hear these truths, your old excuses will never satisfy you again. Once you see what you are capable of, you will either rise or you will suffer the pain of knowing you refuse to. You now stand at a threshold. You may turn back and return to comfort, drift, and mediocrity. Or you may move forward and become the master of your thought, the commander of your belief, and the author of your fortune. But you cannot do both. You must choose, and you must choose now. Let this part close with a vow. From this moment forward, I will no longer pretend to be powerless. I will no longer speak as a victim. I will no longer wait for permission. I accept the full responsibility for the power I am about to unlock. Sleep tonight with that decision in your heart. And when you wake tomorrow, begin the process of mental mastery, not as a student, but as a builder of unseen forces. For this truth, when obeyed, does not just change your results. It changes what kind of man you are allowed to become. No man is free until he controls his own thinking, and until that moment, he is not a man. He is a mirror, a servant, a vessel carrying the thoughts of others. The masses are not free. They are shaped by gossip, ruled by fear, trained by failure, and moved by every change in wind and opinion. They do not think, they react. From the moment you were born, you were surrounded by voices. Some spoke fear, some spoke caution, most spoke smallness. And because you had no defense, no philosophy, no definiteness, no filter, you accepted their thoughts as your own. This is the tragedy of modern man. He believes he is thinking when in truth, he is only remembering what someone else repeated to him. Let me say this plainly. Mind control is not fiction. It is fact. It happens not in dark rooms or laboratories, but in homes, schools, workplaces, and casual conversations. The man who does not deliberately command his thoughts is already under the command of the world around him. He who does not deliberately program his mind will be programmed by the world. There is no neutral ground. Either you dominate your mind or you surrender it. Either you install belief, purpose, strength, or you absorb fear, distraction, and failure. You are either the master or the puppet. You choose. Consider this. If you allow television, newspapers, gossip, and culture to speak louder than your own purpose, then you are not living by thought. You are living by noise. And noise has never built a fortune. Noise has never created greatness. Noise has never installed strength. Think now of Andrew Carnegie, a man whose entire empire was constructed from mental clarity. He did not permit useless voices to reach his subconscious. He protected his mind like a fortress. Only thoughts that aligned with his definite purpose were allowed to remain, and that is why his results were inevitable. He once said, "You may take my factories, my steel, and my wealth, but leave me my mind, and I shall have it all back again." You must now adopt this discipline. You must guard your thoughts with the same intensity a king guards his throne. The tool to do this is autosuggestion, the conscious, deliberate repetition of thought designed to install identity, belief, and action. It is not wishful thinking. It is the daily, hourly act of commanding the subconscious mind to obey a new order. You must become the commander of your thought army, and your first order must be, all voices of weakness are dismissed. All thoughts of fear are exiled. Only purpose, power, and wealth are permitted to remain. Practice this now. Repeat after me. I speak only what builds. I hear only what strengthens. I permit only what aligns. Every thought must pass inspection before it enters. Make this your law. Write it, speak it, obey it, because the enemy is always waiting. The old world will try to speak again. It will knock through memory, through familiar voices, through subtle complaint, and if your mind is unguarded, it will let them in. You must ask yourself every morning, who is speaking through me today? My old self, the world's fears, or my definite aim? The answer will determine your results, not someday, immediately. Do not think you are above influence. No man is, but the wise man chooses which influence he permits. He does not swim in the river of popular thought. He builds his own canal, directs it with belief, and flows toward his goal with relentless control. Let me give you a truth that will offend the average man. To think for yourself is an act of war against everything that benefits from your mediocrity. The moment you begin to speak differently, rise intentionally, and refuse fear, the world will push back. That is proof you are on the right path. You must now install your thoughts like a commander builds a kingdom. No room for doubt, no room for delay. Every wall must be placed with belief. Every phrase must reflect identity. Every command must lead to action. Anything less, and the enemy will return. Say it now with certainty. My mind is my domain. No one else may build here unless I permit it. Every thought is either fuel or poison, and I will no longer drink poison. When you speak like this, think like this, and act like this, you will find the world no longer controls you. Your moods will not dictate your movement. Your environment will not dictate your identity. Your past will no longer determine your posture. And what will happen then? You will become dangerous, not to others, but to the forces that once ruled you. You will become immune to the common infections of doubt and fear. You will become a man whose every action comes from principle, not pressure. You will become a man who is truly free. But the price is high. You must monitor every thought. You must rehearse your belief daily. You must reject 90% of what most men casually accept. And you must do this not once, but forever. This is how you break free from mental slavery, not by running, but by rebuilding, not by avoiding the world, but by commanding your internal world until the outer world must adjust. And so I say again, install your thoughts like a commander. Or be ruled by the collective thought of cowards. There are laws more powerful than government, more binding than contracts, more commanding than education. These are the invisible laws of success, laws that govern wealth, power, identity, and destiny. Yet they are rarely spoken aloud. Why? Because those who understand them rule, and those who do not remain ruled. If these laws were taught to every man in every school, the structure of society would collapse. Why? Because obedience to these laws creates leaders, and the world fears too many leaders. The world needs employees, followers, and servants of wage systems, not men who walk with definite purpose and demand results from life. You must now become what few ever do, a student of invisible law, a disciple of principle, a master of internal forces. The laws I reveal to you here will not be accepted by the average man. But you are not average. If you were, you would not be listening. You are ready. And the first law is this, the law of the definite chief aim. No man becomes powerful until he decides, with finality, what he desires above all else. Until that decision is made, he is a toy of circumstance. He floats, he reacts, he complains, he drifts. But the moment he declares, this is what I shall have, and nothing shall prevent me, the universe itself begins to reorganize. This law is not theory, it is power. And every great man I ever studied obeyed it. Carnegie obeyed it, Ford obeyed it, Edison obeyed it, Lincoln obeyed it. They were not men of luck, they were men of definiteness. Until a man decides what he wants above all else, he is a servant of stronger wills. He speaks of goals, but has no aim. He speaks of desire, but has no heat. He speaks of change, but carries the habits of yesterday. The definite chief aim burns all that away. It becomes the pole star of your thinking, the rhythm of your daily behavior, and the fire that makes weakness impossible. Now listen to me. The aim alone is not enough. It must be backed by faith. Faith is not belief in magic. It is belief in law. Faith is the certainty that if I obey the principles, the results must arrive, no matter the delays, no matter the tests, no matter the trials. Faith is mental persistence, even when sight provides no evidence. Faith is the medium of miracles, but it must be installed, it must be rehearsed, it must be spoken aloud, repeated silently, and burned into the subconscious mind until the subconscious begins to respond with action. The next law is repetition. Repetition is the sculptor of belief. No thought becomes identity until it is spoken again and again with emotion and decision. This is why autosuggestion is not merely a tool, it is a requirement. You must become the craftsman of your belief system through repeated inner commands. Faith without repetition is a fire without fuel, and desire without faith is a ship without a sail. But the man who combines burning desire with daily repetition and unwavering faith is unstoppable. His results are not delayed by opinion, not weakened by failure, not discouraged by doubt. Let me now bring you the image of Henry Ford. The world called him a fool. His engineers told him what he wanted was impossible, but he had already rehearsed the image in his mind. He had already installed the belief. He did not argue with them. He simply said, "Build it." And they did, not because they believed, but because his belief was louder than their doubt. That is the power of invisible law. It bends resistance. It reshapes reality. It commands results, not immediately, but inevitably. These laws are not emotional. They do not care how you feel. They do not reward the man who waits for motivation. They reward only the obedient, and they destroy the man who hesitates. Let me say that again. These laws reward the obedient. They destroy the indecisive. You must decide to obey the law of definiteness by writing and repeating your chief aim aloud until it shapes your every action. You must obey the law of faith by trusting that the outcome belongs to the man who persists, not the man who doubts. You must obey the law of repetition by feeding your mind the same identity, the same desire, the same affirmation until it becomes fixed. And here's the final warning. Once you hear these laws, you are responsible. You can no longer claim ignorance. You can no longer say, "I didn't know." The moment you understand that your life is the direct result of your obedience to invisible law, you can never again blame anything outside of you. This is the beginning of true power. And most men never arrive here, not because they are evil, but because they are lazy. They prefer comfort to clarity. They would rather drift in excuses than walk in discipline. But not you. Say it now. I do not drift, I declare. I do not hope, I decide. I do not beg, I build. I obey the law, and because of that, I am becoming a law to the world around me. This is not motivation, it is activation. This is not inspiration, it is transformation. And from this day forward, the only limit you will know is the one you permit to remain in your mind. Let me speak plainly. Every man repeats something. You repeat fear, or you repeat faith. You repeat self-doubt, or you repeat decision. You repeat complaint, or you repeat command. What you do not understand is that repetition is not neutral. It is not casual. It is devotion. Repetition is not habit alone. It is worship. And what you worship, you become. The average man worships his weakness. He doesn't call it worship, of course. He calls it realism. He calls it personality. He says, that's just how I am. But he speaks fear daily. He repeats failure constantly. He replays criticism. He relives defeat. He rehearses doubt. This is devotion to a God of failure. And he wonders why success avoids him, why power ignores him, why opportunity mocks him. It is because he has built an altar to the wrong master. And every word he speaks, every belief he repeats, is incense burned to the identity of limitation. You must now overthrow that religion. You must destroy the temple of your weakness and build a new one, founded on repetition, structured by decision, and filled with only those thoughts worthy of building the man you are becoming. Understand this. Repetition is the sculptor of identity. It does not ask for your mood. It does not care for your feelings. It simply obeys the law. What you do and say consistently becomes who you are. That is the law of Cosmic Habitforce, the universal rhythm that crystallizes repeated thought into action, belief into behavior, imagination into reality. You have been worshiping something every day, and now you must decide to worship only what you want to become. If you desire wealth, you must speak wealth. If you desire strength, you must repeat strength. If you desire discipline, you must recite discipline, not once, not when it is convenient, but hourly, daily, forever. Let me give you an image. The mind is not a hard stone. It is soft clay, and every word you speak to it is a sculptor's tool. Each repetition is a carving. Each belief is a cut. Over time, it becomes fixed, and the shape it takes determines your fate. Now repeat after me. I become what I honor what I repeat. I repeat purpose until it drowns all doubt. I repeat discipline until I forget disobedience. I repeat strength until fear forgets my name. Do not say these only once. Say them every morning, every evening, until they become your tone of voice, your inner reaction, your emotional rhythm. This is not motivation. This is mental programming. You are not inspiring yourself. You are installing yourself. Let me bring you now to Thomas Edison. He did not invent because he was gifted. He invented because he was repetitive. He failed thousands of times, and each time he repeated belief. Each time he declared again, I will find a way. Each time he commanded his subconscious mind to accept only one outcome, completion. It was this repetition, not intelligence, that made him powerful, not one single repetition alone, but the accumulation of definiteness stacked daily until the subconscious could no longer disobey. Do not deceive yourself. There is no change without repetition. You may feel inspired now, but if you do not speak these words again tomorrow and again the next, and again the day after that, you will return to the man you were, because the old programming is still there, and only daily repetition can override it. The weak man wants new results without new rituals. He says, I've heard that already, but hearing once is not enough. If you do not become the message, you are still under the control of the message you heard last week, last year, last decade, the one installed without your permission. This is the turning point. You must now become a man of repetition. You must choose a handful of affirmations, not hundreds, and drive them into your subconscious until they become unconscious law. These words must be repeated with emotion, with belief, with conviction, until the mind says, this is who I am now. And make no mistake, this is not strange. This is how every identity is formed. The soldier repeats commands until he acts without thought. The lawyer repeats arguments until they become his nature. The athlete repeats form until it becomes instinct. And you must now repeat identity until it becomes inevitable. Let me now give you new affirmations. Speak them aloud. Repeat them daily. Let them shape you. I am the man who commands his mind. I am the man who repeats strength until strength repeats me. I speak my future aloud until it kneels to me. My results are formed by repetition. I choose every result. And let this final truth burn into your memory. Repetition is your religion. Every man has one. The only question is, what God are you serving with your words? From this day forward, you will serve only the God of power, of discipline, of purpose. Your tongue will speak only what builds. Your heart will beat only with belief. Your thoughts will repeat only what belongs in the mind of a man of destiny. Do not ask for change, repeat it. Do not hope for greatness, repeat it. Do not wish for strength, repeat it. And what you repeat, you will become. A man is not only shaped by the thoughts he entertains, but by the environment in which those thoughts are born. A powerful mind cannot thrive in a weak setting. A purpose-driven identity cannot survive in a climate of complaint, criticism, and confusion. Therefore, if your surroundings do not build you, they are burying you. Most men live in tombs and call them homes. They sit among voices that mock ambition, that scoff at wealth, that worship safety, and they wonder why their desires never take root. They rise each day in the company of mediocrity and expect greatness to emerge from within. That is not just unwise, it is impossible. You must understand, environment is not passive, it is active. It is architectural. The conversations you permit, the noise you absorb, the attitudes you tolerate, these are not neutral. They are forces. And if you do not build your environment to serve your aim, it will undo your aim without apology. I say this with the full weight of my experience. A man's thoughts grow in proportion to the quality of the mental soil around them. If you permit negativity, sarcasm, laziness, and distraction to remain in your atmosphere, you are feeding your subconscious with rot. No amount of internal power can flourish while the external field is poisoned. This is why you must become ruthless with your surroundings. I do not mean cruel. I do not mean isolated. I mean disciplined. You must decide who is allowed to speak into your mind. You must determine what enters your ears, what lives on your walls, what is heard in your silence. You must treat your atmosphere as sacred, and anything unworthy must be banished without apology. He who treats environment as trivial shall fail. He who treats it as sacred shall rise. Let me now introduce you to one of the most powerful principles I ever uncovered, the mastermind. When two or more minds come together in perfect harmony, they form a third greater mind, a mind with ideas, strength, and wisdom neither man could summon alone. But this only works in harmony. Most men never form a mastermind because they tolerate contradiction. They associate with doubters, dream thieves, and small talkers, and expect strength to be born from confusion. That is a lie. A mastermind requires agreement in purpose, elevation in speech, and belief in possibility. Without these, you are not building power. You are borrowing weakness. This is why your circle matters. Your associations either feed your strength or fuel your fears. Your conversations are either building your throne or digging your grave. If your friends mock your vision, they are not friends, they are chains. If your family ridicules your discipline, they are not support. They are cement shoes in a rising tide. Now let me speak of Charles M. Schwab. This man did not surround himself with the familiar. He surrounded himself with men whose minds reflected the future, not the past. He built his power through association, through conversation, through selection. He did not allow contradiction to sit at his table, and the result, millions in wealth, respect in every corridor, and a mind sharp with decisiveness. You must now examine your circle, your room, your walls, your inputs. Ask, do these elements lift me or lower me? Do they align with my definite aim or oppose it? Do they remind me of my power or reinforce my excuses? Anything that fails this test must be removed. No discussion, no debate, no delay. Your environment must reflect your identity, not the one you were given, but the one you are building. Even your silence must speak your vision. Even your desk must shout your purpose. Now say this aloud. Burn it into your mind. I permit no mockery of vision near me. I protect my ears like a soldier protects the gate. I attract only minds that multiply my strength. Repeat these daily. Speak them into every room you enter. Let your presence carry conviction, so that weakness has no place to rest. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to make your vision inevitable. And do not fear the loneliness that may come. It is necessary. When you change your environment, the old voices will vanish. They must. They cannot breathe in the air of elevation, and good riddance, for it is only in the silence that your new voice can rise. It is only in the absence of distraction that your new world can begin. When you walk into your home, it should be a temple, not a holding cell. Your walls should declare your aim. Your desk should remind you of structure. Your bookshelf should speak of wisdom. Your music, your speech, your circle, all should reflect who you are becoming. Do not compromise here. Power does not tolerate contradiction. Purpose does not breathe where mediocrity lives. You must now build an environment that reflects only the identity you have chosen, and you must keep it clean, daily, ruthlessly. Let me give you new environmental laws. Speak them, memorize them, live by them. My environment reflects my aim. Nothing enters without my permission. I shape my surroundings to mirror my next level, not my past. If it does not build, it must be banished. Say this each morning. I will not tolerate anything that offends my destiny. Your mind is not a toy. Your future is not a wish. Your purpose is not a suggestion. It is a command. And the room in which that command is spoken must reflect the weight of that decision. From this moment forward, make your environment a cathedral of greatness. Let nothing remain that is not sacred. Let no one speak who is not building. Let no habit continue that does not construct your new reality. And if you do this, if you guard your surroundings as fiercely as your thoughts, you will find something miraculous. You will rise faster, speak clearer, think stronger, and move with the rhythm of unstoppable men. For now you will not just live in power. You will live in the environment that sustains it. A man cannot walk into a new life carrying the corpse of his former self. You are not called to improve the old you. You are called to bury him, the one built on fear, the one shaped by hesitation, the one who waited for permission, who doubted his thoughts, who drifted with the tide and called it fate. He must die. There is no compromise here. The man you are becoming and the man you have been cannot coexist. One must be destroyed for the other to rise. Do not negotiate with him. Do not revisit his comforts. Do not speak his words. He is your enemy, not because he was evil, but because he is useless to the future. Do you want to rise? Do you want to build? Then kill him. Kill the habits, the tone, the posture, the stories. Kill the voice that says, not yet. Kill the voice that says, play it safe. Kill the one who waits. Kill the one who needs approval. Kill the one who shrinks in the face of great responsibility. Listen to me now. You do not need improvement. You need replacement. The weak version of you was not born that way. He was assembled through repetition. He was carved by years of mental surrender. He is not you. He is what you rehearsed. And now, with decision and faith, you must rehearse someone new. Identity is not fixed. It is rehearsed. And the rehearsal must be deliberate. The future you must be acted out until it replaces the former man completely. There is no limit to the man you can become, except the one you refuse to leave behind. Let us now perform the death ritual. First, write the words of the old self. What did he say when pressure came? What did he think when plans failed? What did he speak when fear knocked? Write it down. These are the incantations of a dying man. They must be identified. Second, identify his tone. Was it soft, unsure, hesitant? Was it sarcastic, dismissive, or small? That tone is not neutral. It is a spell, and every time you use it, you summon the identity you are trying to kill. You must never speak in his voice again. Third, deny him permission. He will try to return, in thoughts, in habits, in phrases, but he has no legal right anymore. Say to him, You are no longer the man I obey. You are a ghost. I walk in the body of the new me. Your rule is over. Fourth, speak only as the man who replaces him. Use his words, take his posture, feel his certainty, declare his beliefs, act with his speed. Even if it feels like pretending, pretend until it becomes natural. For this is not make-believe, it is make-real. Say now aloud with finality, I am no longer available to be who I was. I speak only what aligns with the man I have declared. My future self is not a goal, he is my identity. Let me now speak of Abraham Lincoln. There was a season in which he walked in despair, haunted by doubt, tortured by indecision, buried beneath the ghost of his own potential. But one day, when faced with the survival of a nation, he made a final decision. He stood up, and the weaker self was no more. He did not debate with his old voice. He silenced it. He did not compromise with fear. He overrode it with responsibility. And when he walked into that White House, it was not Lincoln the man who entered. It was Lincoln the identity, rebuilt, definite, powerful, surrendered to principle above emotion. You must now do the same. You do not need more time. You need more death. The new you cannot live while the old you is still fed. So starve him of speech, starve him of company, starve him of explanation, and feed only the thoughts that build your throne. Most men avoid this process because it is painful. They think pain is a sign something is wrong. But I say to you, pain is the sound of the old self dying. It is not punishment, it is process. Embrace it, feel it, and finish the burial. When a man truly kills his old self, he becomes unrecognizable, not to others, but to himself. He wakes up with new thoughts. He speaks with a new tone. He walks with new rhythm. He enters rooms differently. He no longer begs. He no longer explains. He builds, commands, and moves. But hear me well. If you delay the death, you delay the destiny. If you revisit the old stories, the old excuses, the old company, you resurrect what you said was dead. And if you do that often enough, your new self will suffocate under the weight of who you refuse to let go. So let us declare this now. This is the last day the old me will be heard. His words are no longer welcome. His habits are no longer repeated. His posture, his tone, his fears, his phrases are gone. From this moment forward, you walk as the new you. And if you forget, return here. Return to this death chamber. Remember what you buried, and repeat the new identity until it becomes the only identity. For every day you delay the death of the old self, you extend the rule of failure. Kill him now, and take the throne that was meant for the man you are finally ready to become. Your mouth is not an ornament. It is an instrument of creation. The words you speak are not decorations of mood or expressions of emotion. They are commands issued to your subconscious mind, to the invisible forces of infinite intelligence, and to the future that obeys thought backed by faith and definiteness of purpose. If you desire to become a creator, you must speak like one. And if you desire to reign over your environment, you must think like a king. Most men speak as beggars, think as drifters, and wonder why they receive the crumbs of life. But the man who trains his tongue and disciplines his inner dialogue becomes a master of conditions. I must speak firmly now. Your language is either building your throne or digging your grave. Every time you say, I can't, you place a chain on your potential. Every time you say, I'll try, you feed the muscle of doubt. Every time you say, maybe, we'll see. Hopefully, you declare to your subconscious, I am not in control. Such words are not harmless, they are treasonous. They betray your purpose. They weaken your command. They pollute the inner chamber of your mind, and the mind, being loyal, obeys the poison. It adjusts your identity downward. It reshapes your confidence to match the words. It delivers conditions aligned with your voice, not your hope. Understand this. The subconscious mind accepts every word as law. It does not interpret. It does not question. It does not laugh. It obeys, and it obeys with precision. Therefore, your words must become tools, each one chosen, sharpened, and directed with purpose. You must never speak what you do not want made real. Let me now give you the law. Speech must match aim. You may not say anything that contradicts your goal, not even in jest, not even in passing, not even when discouraged. The moment you do, you begin to fracture the image you are building. The builder must speak only blueprints. The king must speak only decrees. Let your speech reflect structure. I will. I am becoming. It is done. I do not entertain weakness. I declare my result in advance, and I obey its instruction. Most men speak in moods, but the man of power speaks in principles. He does not ask if he feels like building. He commands the bricks into place. He does not ask if today is favorable. He shapes the day with his decision. This is not arrogance. It is alignment with law. Let me now draw your mind to Henry Ford. He was not the most educated. He was not the most refined. But his speech was final. His commands were definite. When his engineers told him a thing could not be done, he did not discuss, he did not explain. He said simply, produce it. And they did, not because they believed, but because his belief outranked their doubt. That is the power of command speech. It reshapes reality, not by force, but by faith so certain that all opposition must bow. When you speak like this, you do not beg circumstances. You do not negotiate with weakness. You do not entertain contradiction. You speak, and it is so. Now, I must confront you. You may still be speaking the language of the old identity. Do you say, I'm trying? That is the speech of drift. Do you say, we'll see? That is the dialect of delay. Do you say, I'm overwhelmed? That is the song of the slave. You must eliminate every phrase that belongs to the man you buried. Here is your discipline. Listen to yourself speak. Record it if you must. Write it out if you must. Identify every phrase that opposes your definite chief aim and burn it. Replace it with precision. Speak only what serves your throne. Say this now. My tongue is the pen of a king. I speak what I intend. I repeat what I am becoming. I do not allow casual language to insult my destiny. Let me remind you, every great builder spoke with definiteness. Rockefeller spoke of markets and expansion before the oil had flowed. Carnegie spoke of organization and riches long before the steel had formed. Edison spoke of the electric light while the world laughed. They did not speak from evidence. They spoke from command. You must now do the same. Do not wait until results appear. Speak until they do. Do not wait until you feel powerful. Speak power until the feeling arrives. Do not wait for evidence. Speak what you intend and act like it is already law. Your mind is listening. Infinite intelligence is listening. Your body is listening. Your environment is listening. And all of them respond to your tone, not your wish, your tone. Speak with a tongue that makes hesitation impossible. Let us now install new identity speech. Say these daily. Say them aloud. Let them build the bones of your new self. I am the voice of my future. I speak what commands the world I am building. My words are not decorations, they are instructions. Every sentence I speak is a brick in my palace. Remember, your voice is a builder, not a mirror, not a vent, not a toy, a builder. If you repeat a phrase often enough, your subconscious accepts it. And once it accepts it, it begins to direct every action, emotion, and result to match that phrase. Speak accordingly. You have not been speaking to empty air. The thoughts you have repeated, the affirmations you have declared, the decisions you have made, they have been heard. Not just by your conscious mind, not only by your body, but by something greater. Infinite intelligence has been listening. And now the only question is, will you move accordingly? Understand this law. Infinite intelligence is not moved by emotion, by doubt, or by need. It is moved by definiteness. It is commanded through faith. It responds to purpose. And the man who speaks with unwavering belief becomes a channel through which all resources, people, ideas, and events flow to accomplish his declared intention. This is no fantasy. This is law. It is the law that built the fortunes of the industrial kings. It is the law that guided every major invention. It is the law that shaped empires. The man who aligns with it becomes magnetic. The man who ignores it becomes dependent. You must now understand, infinite intelligence does not ask what you want. It asks what you have decided, and it will send back to you that which aligns with your repeated declarations, good or bad. If you have spoken failure, expect failure. If you have entertained delay, expect delay. If you have repeated contradiction, confusion, vagueness, expect exactly that. But if you have spoken decisiveness, wealth, power, faith, prepare yourself. For all things are being arranged to bring you exactly what you have claimed. I will say it again. You become what you think about, backed by desire, faith, and decision. That phrase is not motivational. It is the blueprint of law. And the moment you obey it with full mind and full spirit, everything begins to move in your favor. But hear this warning. Half faith earns no power. Half speech builds no bridge. Half effort makes you a beggar. And infinite intelligence does not reward beggars. It rewards builders. You must move now as a man who is already being answered. You must walk with certainty. You must act as if the thing you desire has already been completed in the unseen, and you are simply arriving at it in time. Say aloud, I walk in unseen certainty. I act from completed vision. My success is not a wish, it is an unfolding certainty. This is not delusion, this is alignment. This is obedience to the unseen law that governs all success. The man who walks this way becomes a beacon of force. People follow him. Doors open. The very structure of time rearranges to serve his advancement. Let me give you an image. As water flows to the lowest point, wealth flows to the strongest belief. It does not flow to the most talented. It does not flow to the most desperate. It flows to the one whose mind has become a channel of command, narrowed, focused, definite, repeated, reinforced, clear. Repeat this daily. Infinite intelligence flows through me. It works for me, responds to me, guides me. My only job is to remain definite, faithful, and obedient to the identity I have declared. Let me speak now of burning desire. This is not casual want. It is not mild interest. It is the white-hot obsession with an outcome so vivid, so emotionally charged, so spiritually absorbed that it dominates the subconscious, reshapes behavior, attracts alliance, and bends reality. Burning desire does not beg. It does not hope. It demands. And that demand, when backed by faith, becomes a magnetic force. It draws to itself the people, the places, the opportunities, and the instructions that make the impossible real. Now listen carefully. If you break the chain, if you return to old speech, old habits, old excuses, the bridge collapses. The subconscious does not remain idle. It is always being programmed, either by your voice or by the voices around you. That is why repetition must become your religion. That is why definiteness must be your compass. That is why you must hear this message daily. This is not a speech. It is a command center. It is the blueprint of kings. And kings do not dabble. They decide. From this moment forward, you must see yourself not as one becoming great, but as one who already is. You are now the type of man who speaks with clarity, who walks with power, who builds by command, who acts without apology, who speaks what he believes and believes what he speaks. And because of this, infinite intelligence has taken notice. You are now on record. You have declared your purpose. You have cast your old self into the fire. You have replaced weakness with structure. You have spoken the words that create conditions. And now you must move accordingly. Repeat these final affirmations. Infinite intelligence has heard me. It works with me, through me, for me. I will speak only what builds. I will act only in alignment with my definite chief aim. I will not apologize. I will not delay. I will not retreat. And now, let this truth seal your transformation. You have heard what most will never hear. Now act in a way most men never will, and you shall possess what most men never taste, definite power. Go now, not as the man who listened, but as the man who became,